Welcome back to Superior Sunrise. Mark Oppel, good to be with you this morning. Superior, these video sales produce a lot of data, as you might imagine, all year long. And that data is not just sitting there after the sale is over. It's being analyzed. Our good friends at Kansas State University, right front and center. Dr. Glynn Tonsor joining us this morning. He is ag economist at K-State. I see you wearing that purple pride here this morning, Doctor. I guess rightfully so.
Yeah, while I'm on campus, I should be wearing it. And K-State just had a big football win, so it's extra easy to wear it today.
Absolutely. So all that data, this is you started this in 2019 to collect this data with Superior Livestock, and by the way, support from Merck Animal Health. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But so give us an update of where you are in this year.
Yeah, so as you said, we started in 2019. This is sort of the third round of doing this deep dive. And to help our listeners know what we're doing, remember there's a lot of traits behind feeder cattle. Sometimes it's as simple as the sex, right? Is it a steer or heifer? Is the lot even or not? Does it have a VAC 45 claim or not? Is the animal enrolled in a BQA or a never ever NHTC kind of program? There's a lot of those claims that exist in the marketplace. But a question that always comes up is, what's the impact of all those differences on realized feeder cattle prices for producers that are making the decision to change the herd or maybe enroll their cattle in these programs or not? So regularly, myself and then Dr. Renner over here in the vet school at K-State, we partner up with Merck Animal Health, as you said, using SLA's data to answer that question. So we're sitting here, early November of 2022. We've started our analysis on all the 2021 and 2022 to date data. And early in 23, hopefully, middle of January, we will have updated insights on the answers to what I was alluding to earlier.
So then how is that data then, what you find out, how is that used by our viewers here, these ranchers here this morning? Yeah,
so it's used several ways. I mean, obviously I use it trying to inform my Outlook talks and so forth. If you work with your SLA rep, they have access to that report. We actually have an Excel-based decision tool that's on Ag Manager, K-State website. Our listeners are welcome to email me and I'll get them in touch with that. That helps them understand the benefit cost at the attribute level. So what can you expect, right? What's the net gain of doing, say, VAC 60 instead of VAC 45? As an example there. So those are a function of the latest estimates. So we try to enable decisions by producers to be improved, SLA reps that are working with them to be more current, and then geeks like me that talk with folks like you, Mark, can be a little more current in our insights.
Yeah. Well, in fact, that leads us here before we close out this morning. I have to ask you, when you go out and you're making those presentations to whoever it might be, media or your producers. Give us an outlook here for 2023. Live cattle here just recently setting new highs, but feeder cattle aren't really following step for step at all. Take a look at feeders for us.
Yeah, the feeders aren't quite there yet. I think there's quite a few reasons to be bullish for both fed and feeder cattle over the next, let's say, 6-12 months for our discussions here. We certainly have shrunk the number of hooves in our industry. We were cyclically going to be doing that. Drought magnified it. We pulled some of those feeder cattle animals forward. We're sitting here early November. Some of those animals came through the auction barns earlier than we planned. That's one of the reasons I think feeder cattle haven't kept up quite as much. But that story is about to change. So just supply side support for feeder and fed cattle prices is going to be there for the months and frankly the next 2 or 3 years, even if we pull the trigger on expansion. The beef demand story, most of your listeners probably know I spend a lot of my time working on meat demand in general and beef demand here, is a mixed bag. We're going through inflation that's impacting beef demand. US dollar's high, that's a challenge. But on balance, beef demand has been stronger than we expect. So if you put a bow on what I just said there, Mark, is demand has been supportive. We can't take it for granted, but it's been supportive, and supply is tightening. Both of those are going to put upward support towards higher feeder cattle prices in the future.
Well, I wish we had more time, but thanks for that. I guess we'll leave it with a strong note for producers that prices will be strong here through most of 23. Doctor, thanks for being with us this morning. Really appreciate the update.
Thanks for having me on, Mark.
Dr. Glynn Tonsor, ag economist, Kansas State University. Again, our thanks to Merck Animal Health being part of all the analysts, the analysis taking place from the data. We have a sale coming up, but first, more Sunrise. Callie back after this.